Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I am Olubumi Ajiboye Agbola. President Bola Tinubu will leave France today for Cape Town, South Africa, to co-chair the 11th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission alongside President Cyril Ramaphosa. The Special Advisor on Information and Strategy to the President, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, revealed this in a statement, adding that the presidential BNC, scheduled for tomorrow, will be preceded by a ministerial meeting today at the South African Parliament building in Cape Town. The statement indicated that President Tinubu and Ramaphosa will engage in substantive talk on a wide range of issues of mutual interest, including bilateral, regional, and international matters. The 11th session of the BNC will feature deliberations across 8 working groups, each focusing on a specific area of mutual interest, including political consultations, consular and migration, banking and finance, defense and security, manufacturing, social sector, mines and energy, and trade and investment. According to the presidency, the meeting is particularly significant as it coincides with the 25th anniversary of the Commission, a testament to the enduring friendship and cooperation between Nigeria and South Africa. At the high-level meeting, officials of both countries will sign several memoranda of understanding and agreements. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has reiterated his resolve to stabilize the economic community of West African states and contribute to peace in Africa. The president made the emphasis in a statement by the Senior Special Assistant on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Mr. Stanley Nwokocha, during the closing ceremony of the African Military Games 2024 in Abuja. President Tinubu, represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, also reiterated his administration's determination to root out all forms of security threats and violent crimes in Nigeria. The president, who is the chairman of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Governments, said he intended to accomplish all this by strengthening ties across African countries to promote a profound sense of camaraderie among troops on the continent. The president said the second edition of the African Military Games could not have come at a better time, 2 decades after the last edition was held. He said the military sports would go a long way in awakening the spirit of comradeship and friendship that is crucial to enhance cooperation among militaries across the African continent. While declaring the African Military Games Abuja 2024 closed, Tinubu congratulated delegates from participating countries across Africa for their good conduct and display of the spirit of sportsmanship. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has said that the good life Nigerians enjoyed before his administration was not real and could not have led to the country's economic collapse, which is why the fuel subsidy was removed. The president made the remark during the convocation ceremonies at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Ondo State, emphasizing that his dual policies of removing the fuel subsidy and unifying the exchange rate were aimed at preventing the collapse of Nigeria's economy. Recall that President Tinubu announced the removal of the petrol subsidy on May 29, 2023, during his inauguration. The president, who was represented by the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ilorin, Professor Wahab Egbewale, said that his administration was fully aware of the consequences of the difficult decision to remove the fuel subsidy. He explained that the subsidies were meant to support the poor and make life better for all Nigerians. President Tinubu assured Nigerians that the measures taken by his administration were beginning to bear fruits with signs of economic improvements. The House of Representatives has suspended indefinitely the debate on the tax reforms bills earlier fixed for tomorrow, following mounting pressure from the 19 northern state governors. The planned debate was called off in a memo signed by the Clerk of the House of Representatives, Dr. Yahya Danzaria, as 73 northern lawmakers kicked against the bills. Those who rejected the bills include 48 reps members from the Northeast, 24 federal lawmakers from Kano, and a former governor of Sokoto State, Senator Aminu Tambuwa. According to Dr. Danzaria, the rescheduling is due to the need for further and broader consultations with all relevant stakeholders, while a new date and venue for the session will be communicated in due course. Recall that President Bola Tinubu transmitted 4 tax reforms to the National Assembly for consideration following the recommendations of the Taiwo Oyedele-led Presidential Committee on Fiscal and Tax Reforms. The bills include the Nigeria Tax Bill 2024, which aims to provide a fiscal framework for taxation in the country, and the Tax Administration Bill, which will provide a clear and concise legal framework for all taxes in the country and reduce disputes, among others. Moving on to sport, dozens of people were killed in clashes between fans at a football match in Guinea's second largest city, Izekore. Prime Minister Mahmoud Ori Ba said a stampede at the event led to a number of victims and called for calm. Thousands of spectators were present when the chaos happened at a match between Izekore and Labe. The match was said to be a part of a tournament in the honor of President Mamadi Doumbouya, who seized power in a coup in September 2021. Reports say the fracas started when a contested decision by the referee, then fans invaded the pitch and police used tear gas after supporters of the visiting team, Labe, threw stones towards the pitch in anger at the referee, but no official casualty figures have been given. Some of those lying unresponsive on the ground appear to be children, while Prime Minister Ba said regional authorities are working to restore calm and hospitals were aiding the injured. While on the foreign scene, the Syrian military rushed in reinforcements and struck Idlib city in an attempt to push back insurgents from advancing further after seizing Aleppo and surrounding strategic locations in an adjacent province in a surprise offensive. The insurgents led by Hayat Tahrir al-Assam took over most of Aleppo and claimed to have entered the city of Hama, but there was no independent confirmation of their claim. The swift and surprise offensive is a huge embarrassment for Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and raises questions about his troops' preparedness. It also comes at a time when Assad's allies, Iran, groups its backs and Russia are preoccupied with their own conflicts. It was learned that Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi told reporters that Tehran will back the Syrian government and army just as Arab leaders, including Jordan's King Abdullah II and the United Arab Emirates President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, in course with Assad, expressed their solidarity with Damascus. Meanwhile, Turkey, a main backer of Syrian opposition groups, said its diplomatic efforts had failed to stop Syrian government attacks on opposition-held areas and allow civilians to return to their homes in recent weeks. In the meantime, US, Germany, France, and the United Kingdom have issued a joint statement calling for the de-escalation of violence in Syria, where rebel forces have launched their biggest offensive against the government of Bashar al-Assad in years. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, the NATO allies said they were closely monitoring developments in Syria, where 255 people, mostly militants, died last week. In their joint statement, the countries urged de-escalation for the protection of civilians and infrastructure to prevent further displacement and disruption of humanitarian access. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said over 14,000 people, including children, had been displaced by the violence in recent days. Syria's armed forces said it had redeployed troops and was prepping up for a counter-attack, acknowledging that insurgents had entered large parts of the city, but denying reports that they had established bases. And that ends the midday news on OSBC TV. Do join us at 3 for the state news. Good afternoon.